Hello everyone, hope you're right. In today's video, I'm going to show you how my backyard garden is doing during the winter and what plants I am overwintering in my greenhouse. So here you can see this is a small section of my backyard which I have assigned as a vegetable garden. This is the beginning of February and I have got some brassicas growing in my raised beds. So to start with, here is my arbor which is looking bare at the moment, and next to the arbor I have got this big pot with loganberry bush and raspberry bush in here. So I planted these last year and this is the raspberry cane. You can see it has got nice buds which soon will open to produce side shoots and flowers later on. And next I have got this loganberry bush which has grown quite a lot. It didn't produce anything last year and I'm hopeful that it could produce food this year. It has got all these new growth from the last year and it has really beautiful bronze colored leaf from the autumn during the winter, and most of the leaves have shed now. Moving on, in the next container I have got my kiwi vine which I planted last year. So I have done its pruning and you can see I have left only few branches with couple of birds on each branch, and they are starting to show some green, so I'm hopeful that they will start growing soon. In the next container I just used some pansy seeds in the fall and they germinated, and the pansy plants survived the winter. They are still young seedlings, so hopefully once the weather warm up they will start growing. So I have done the same thing with other containers as well. Next I have got a container with foxgloves in it. I started these foxglove plants last year in July from seed, and I transplanted them in this container in October somewhere, and they have survived through the winter, so they are doing good and they will start growing as the weather warms up. Moving on, I have got this drop planter where I planted my alyssum and petunias in the summer last year. Most of them have died now. I have got some snapdragon cuttings and pansy plants in it. Otherwise, it's looking quite dull. Next, in this small container, I have got lots of muscari bulbs which are coming up nicely. Some are quite big and some are still small, but soon they will all catch up. In the next container, I have got foxgloves. Old leaves are looking dull, but the new growth is quite green and hopefully they will start blooming this year. This is heather plant in this small container. I planted it in the fall and it has amazed me by its performance. It has been blooming through the rain and snow and it has grown quite a lot. So I am planning to shift it in the ground in my front yard. So I'm really happy with its performance and it is really beautiful plant if you want to have some winter color. Here by the fence I have got this apple tree which I'm trying to train as espalier. So I have planted it here in this container and you can see it has got really nice buds which soon will open and form the flowers. So I'm really hopeful to see a beautiful flower show in early spring, and this is doing well. Next in this container I have got a blueberry bush from last year. It has got very beautiful buds as well. Soon this will form flowers and it is loaded with these flower buds. So I'm really happy. How is it doing? I haven't done any pruning on this plant because it's still young. So I will wait until next year to see if I need to do any pruning on this bush. Next in the greenhouse I have got some plants which are overwintering and some seeds which I started in January. So here you can see my strawberry tower. So I have split it into two parts. So one part is here and strawberry plants are doing well. Here are some more foxglove plants, more strawberry plants in this grow bag. I have got some eggplants overwintering which I'm not sure whether they will come back or not, but let's see. And I have got some raspberry and blackberry cuttings to see whether they can form roots. Here is my Meyer lemon plant in this small container. It hasn't been doing really well through the winter. I moved it inside, but it was like under some kind of shock, so I moved back it in the greenhouse, and it's still going through some shock. So I will try to transplant it in a bigger container and keep it in the greenhouse to see whether it recovers or not. Moving on, there are some more strawberry plants in the small container. All these strawberry plants inside the greenhouse are the young plants from the last year runners. Next, I have got this mini orange tree in this container. It is doing well. It has got some small fruit and it is loaded with fruit, but during the last couple of weeks it has been quite cold, so it's showing the sign of stress. So let's see whether it can ripen this fruit or not. So next on the table, I have got lots of cuttings. These are geranium plants from the last year, which I tried to overwinter, and there are some lavender plants, echinacea plants, petunia cuttings, snapdragon cuttings. So I'm trying to overwinter them to see whether they can survive. Here is my grape plant in the corner, which I have done pruning, and here are some more cuttings. Here are my pansy plants, which I started from seed in the fall last year, and as you can see, they are growing out of these pots and they need moving into bigger pots, but I'm waiting for the frost to go away. Here are some more foxglove plants, need to go outside now, so just waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit so I can transplant them in the ground. Some citrus plants which I started from seed, and these are the seeds which I started in January. Nothing has come up yet, so lots of plants in the greenhouse. Some chili plants which I'm trying to overwinter, not looking really good. Here is my kumquat tree, which is showing some yellowing of leaves, so I will fertilize it once the weather warms up, and let's see if it produces any fruit this year or not. So this is the view of my greenhouse loaded with plants at the moment. Here are my containers, and I have planted tulip bulbs in 3 of them, and one of them has got hyacinths and crocus bulbs. Crocus bulbs are about to bloom. All other bulbs are coming up nicely, and soon they will produce a really beautiful flower show in the spring. I'm really hopeful to watch all these bulbs bloom. And here are my apple plants which I started from seed. They have lost the leaves now, and let's see how they grow. Here are more daffodil bulbs in these 2 containers, and this is a mix of daffodil bulbs. Some of them are about to bloom, you can see this bird, and some of them are still popping through the surface. So hopefully a beautiful flower bulbs show during spring. And here are my strawberry plants which are in their second year of growth. Last year they were in the tower, and I moved them in the raised bed here, so there are like 16-18 plants in these 3 raised beds. And here I also sprinkled some spring onion seeds in November, December, and they have germinated. Here is a small strawberry plant which is self-sown, so you can see how small it is, and it will take some time to catch up with the other plants. Next, I have got spring onions in this container which I started in July. I have been harvesting spring onions throughout the winter, and there's still plenty of them. Here is my plum tree which I am trying to train as a spalier. Next, I have got this blackberry bush in this big container which has grown quite a lot from last year. It produced few fruit at the end of last year. As it produces fruit on the last year's growth, so I'm hopeful it will produce plenty of fruit this year. Moving on, I have got my mint in this big container, and this mint I started from cuttings last year, and I have been harvesting from it throughout the year, and it's starting to grow again now, so there are small leaves coming up. Next, I have got snapdragon plants in this big container which I started from seed last year, and in my zone 8B snapdragons are kind of biennial, so they come back the next year, and I have done a little pruning on them to see whether they come back or not. Moving on to my raised beds, I have got brassicas growing in these 2 raised beds. In this bed, I have got cabbage plants which I started in July from seed, and you can see they are huge now, and I'm just waiting for them to form the hearts, but the weather has been really cold during January and in the beginning of February, so their growth has been quite stunted. But I'm hopeful once the weather warms up they will start forming. The hearts here are some carrots from the fall last year, so I didn't harvest them because they were quite small, so I left them, and let's see whether they can grow a little bit more. So in the next bed I have got cauliflower plants which I have wrapped up with the leaves to protect them from moisture so they don't turn black and moldy. Here is the one which is looking quite beautiful. So I'm going to harvest all my cauliflowers today at the end of this video, and because I have noticed some of them are going black. And here by the side of the raised bed I have got some garlic, so I planted like 15-16 garlic cloves in here, and almost all of them have come up. Some of them are big and some of them are still small, but soon they will be growing. Here are some spinach seedlings from the fall last year, and on the other side of the raised bed I have got a full row of strawberry plants which are ever-bearing strawberry plants. So I divided my ever-bearing strawberry plant which was quite old, so I divided it into many more small strawberry plants. Soon they will be producing more strawberry fruit for me. Here is another cauliflower looking good. And here are all my strawberry plants from the ever-bearing strawberry plant which I divided. So they have formed the roots and they are growing nicely. So if you want to check the video, I will include the link in the description box. So this is the overall view of my garden. There are plenty of plants still growing nicely. I'm in zone 8B, so our winters are not that harsh, but this year it has been quite cold, like it has been snowing throughout the January, and still these plants have performed beautifully. So I'm going to harvest all my cauliflowers now to see how many I can get. There were like 8-9 plants in this big raised bed, and I started them from seed last year in July, and then I transplanted them here in October. I tried to cover them through the winter, but it has been really windy, so the cover didn't do anything, so I had to remove it, and they have been under the snow or through the rain, so some of them are turning moldy. So let's see how many I can get. I'm still happy with how they are looking and how they have been doing through the winter. So this is my harvest of cauliflowers today. There are 3 of them which are looking quite good and nice sized. Others are still small, but they are turning black and moldy, so I'm going to use them anyway. So I will just scrub the black part off and use the good part. And this is the one which has rotten all the way, so it will go in my compost bin. I'm still happy with my harvest, and I have started more cauliflowers for the summer harvest. And here are my cauliflowers after cutting, looking good. And I have prepared a nice curry dish with my cauliflowers today. So hope you enjoyed watching the tour of my backyard vegetable garden in February, and it gives you an idea how the plants perform in zone 8B throughout the winter, and what plants I can overwinter in my greenhouse, which is technically cold frame. So please subscribe to my channel to see more gardening videos and to see how these plants come back once the spring is here. Thank you very much for watching today. See you next time. Bye.